Hey guys, I'm Ricky Havoc and welcome to Loose Nuts Off-Road. Today we're doing a rig walk around in my 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. Let's start in the front. I used to have an NFAB pre-runner style bumper. It had a 20-inch light bar and two rigid amber light pods, and then I had a 52-inch light bar up top. When me and the family decided to move to Tennessee, I decided it was time to upgrade the front bumper. So I went with the ARB bull bar. Winch capable. I do not have a winch in there yet, but it's winch capable. For the fog light pockets, I am running Baja Design Squadron Sport in amber. Paranoid Fabrication makes a bracket that goes in there to mount those squadrons, if you guys are wondering, and it costs like $35. They are also based out of San Diego, and they originally made it for a Tacoma ARB bumper, but not all bumpers line up. Some of them are different with the way the mounts are for the ARB lights, but so far for the Tacoma, the FJ Cruiser, and I want to say the 4Runner, they line up. So check them out. Paranoid Fabrication in Poway, San Diego, if I remember correctly. Poway, California. Give them a shout. Awesome guys. The brackets are phenomenal. They came real quick in the mail. I think it took 2 days to come. But if you're looking for a solution and you want something brighter than the ARB rounds that go in there, I would check them out. They look like they might fit a Ridgeon, but they're specifically designed for those squadrons. So on the top of the bumper, I'm running Baja Design's XL Sports. So far, it's been a great setup. I haven't really wheeled it super hard yet. I have not put a winch in it yet, but it's pretty solid. I got a lot more protection up front between rocks and mud, or if I'm just cruising down the highway and I wind up hitting something like a deer, it's a lot more protection up front, and that's what I wanted. So moving to the side. So on the passenger side, I have the ARB Safari Snorkel, and the story behind the Safari Snorkel, because you don't necessarily need it. It's great for being out in the desert for desert filtration, for air filtration, keeping a lot of sand out of your airbox, because in Toyotas the air intake, the stock air intake is down in the side fender well. So what happened with me is I wanted to take my fender flares off, and I started with the passenger side, and instead of declipping it, I just kind of ripped it out, leaving a gaping hole in my airbox. So I went mudding and I filled it, and I got mud, not a lot, but enough mud in my engine to make me worried. That's when I decided it is time for a snorkel. So the snorkel has been great. It keeps my airbox a lot cleaner. Inside the airbox, I'm running a K&N oiled filter. That thing's been holding up great. Being able to clean it and then re-oil it. I'm running one in the air filter and in the cabin air filter. So I highly recommend the K&N products. I know there's dry drop-ins that are a little bit better, because the oil, if you put too much oil, can really screw up your engine. But where I'm standing at right now, it's been great. So between the Safari Snorkel and the K&N air filter, it's been great. And you see a really slight increase in miles per gallon, but if you buy an FJ Cruiser, you're not looking for miles per gallon, and if you are, you're in the wrong bracket. Go find a Prius. Also going down the side, I also have an Overland bound badge. I really support that group. I'm happy to be part of that group. I don't have any direct affiliation outside of having a membership with them, but I really like what they stand for and what they can do for the off-road community and what they offer. So if you're looking into it, I highly recommend Overland bound. So looking at suspension, I'm running a Toy Tech Bilstein 5100 3-inch lift. Those are 600-pound coils. The Bilstein 5100s are on the factory clip setting because the coil itself lifts the vehicle, and when I got those, I was still running that NFAB bumper. So now that I put that ARB bumper, I am starting to sag. And I've had these 5100s for about 3 years, 4 years. As soon as I got my FJ, that was one of them. I did a window tint and I lifted the car, and I'm happy I did, because when I lifted my vehicle, when we pulled out the first driver's side shock, the top of the tower was actually the nut that goes through, the bolt that goes through was actually getting eaten away. It was wobbling, so it was a really good thing we wound up switching those out. But for introduction, for being introduced to off-roading and a first lift, I highly recommend this lift. Now I am getting ready to upgrade my lift. I'm looking at Kings, and I'm also looking at Fox 2.5 coilovers. I'm just looking for better ride quality. I want a coilover so I can adjust my height if I need it. I like the full look of a 3-inch lift. I'm not going to go long travel. There's just too much to go along with that. But I'm leaning kind of towards the Fox 2.5s. I really like Icons and all the other Radflow. I've been looking at other brands, but I'm really leaning toward Fox right now. Now for upper control arms, you probably saw one of my other videos talking about upper control arms. I am running the Dirt King ball joint upper control arms. They use the Moog Problem Solver ball joint, and the reason I went with this is because if that ball joint fails, and when it fails, that ball joint's only like $40 to replace versus something that's $200 to replace. And those parts are everywhere. You can go to any local shop and pick up a Moog Problem Solver ball joint. So it was just kind of a combination of I had the 3-inch lift, I needed aftermarket upper control arms, and I figured, the ball joint is going to be perfect to go with. The Dirt Kings were perfect, and when I lived in San Diego, they were based in San Diego. So they're perfect. Also going down the side, if you saw one of my older videos, I suggested everybody in their first 5 mods should get rock sliders. So rock sliders was one of the very first things I did outside of the lift and outside of window tinting. So I went with Demello off-road hybrid rock sliders. And these things have been awesome. They're super strong. I've slammed them in some gnarly rocks. I've used and abused them. And they're holding up great. The only thing that I need to do is repaint them. But these Demello off-road hybrid sliders are awesome. Why they're called hybrid sliders is because they're squared around. That square underneath the frame is going to be a lot stronger than that tube. So I highly recommend you look into some rock sliders, whether it's Demello or All Pro or whatever brand you're really interested in. But I went with Demello. They were about an hour away from where I lived in California, so I waited about 4 weeks and went and picked them up. They are an awesome rock slider. Just remember, if you're going to do any kind of off-roading, get rock sliders, because that rocker panel is extremely expensive to repair if you damage it. So wheels and tires. I'm running a Vision Off-Road 16-inch Raptor wheel. I love it. It's all black. They've held up. I've chewed them up pretty good on the rocks, but they're holding up great. No failures, no problems. Those 16-inch Raptor wheels are wrapped in a 285/75/16 BFG KM3 mud terrain. Now these mud terrains are amazing. I used to run Cooper ATPs on them on my FJ that I used to have on my Tundra before I got an FJ. They were really good for an all-terrain, but I wanted to go something more aggressive, something a little bit more sticky. These BFG KM3s I've been running for almost 2 years now, and it's an amazing tire. I did a obstacle in the 4x4 training area out in Ocotillo Wells, and they just, when they're aired down, they throw rocks, they grab, they don't really slip. They're just they're a great compound. I really like the BFG KM3s. Other options I'm looking at, because I'm running a 33 right now, and I'm eventually going to go to 35s. I'm really looking into Pro Comps, and I'm really looking into Cooper STT Pros, but I'm really leaning on going back to the BFG KM3, and I highly recommend it if you're going to do any kind of rock crawling. Now, rear suspension. Let's get into the rear suspension. I am also running the Bilstein 5100s in the rear. Just the regular Bilsteins that you get for the FJ. There's no extended travel or anything. I'm running the Superflex coils that's sold by Toytech, but they're Eibach coils. Technically, both sets of coils, front and rear, are by Eibach. The front ones are just rebranded with the Toytech name. It's an amazing coil. It's a 2-inch lift in the rear end. I've loaded that thing down, and they work great. Now going to the rear of the vehicle. In the rear of the vehicle, I haven't really done anything to the rear of the vehicle. So up top on the factory roof rack, I am running Baja Design S2s for chase lights, and I have my Patriot Edition high lift jack. Now that high lift jack has come in handy a few times, helping out with a Tacoma that got stuck, and then also changing CV axles that have been blown out on Gold Mountain at 11 o'clock at night. I did not get video of that, I wish I did, but we changed 2 CV axles, one on a 4Runner and one on my FJ after Gold Mountain. We both broke them, so that high lift jack was, I know it's not the best tool, but it was the best tool that I had at the time. Now going underneath the car, I don't have any skid plates outside of factory skid plates yet. I'm really considering A or B skid plates for the factory replacements. But let's move into exhaust. So my exhaust guy, Lyons in San Marcos, California, he really helped me out. We went through 4 or 5 different exhaust systems until I was happy. And where I am at now, because my FJ came with the TRD exhaust system on it, I'm sitting at right now I'm running a Flowmaster Super 10. It's not super loud, but it does have that growl, and I see a miles per gallon improvement. You know, I see a little bit improvement, but overall the tone is great. I highly recommend the Super 10 on the FJ. Now going to interior mods. I haven't really done a lot of interior mods, but both for my cell phone and my Baofeng radio, I'm running Mob Armor mounts. I love these Mob Armor mounts. I did a review on these. I have not had a problem once with my cell phone mount, with my phone coming out and falling out and all that, because it's got the full grip around the outside of it. These are 90-pound pull magnets, so you can virtually put them anywhere. If you put a little piece of metal, anywhere there's metal, the thing will stick. Under the hood, in the back of the car, whatever you need. So they're perfect. So I did the same thing with my Baofeng radio, and I have absolutely no problems going down washboard roads and it falling off, because I've tried other options and it worked flawlessly. Now on my visor, I have the Smitty built Molly panel. I got that, my wife got that for me, because in the FJ Cruiser there's no place to store your sunglasses or anything. Yes, we got the little cubby up front, but I wanted something that was kind of in your face right there. If you need it, you can grab and go. So it worked out beautifully. I can keep all my paperwork on the inside, and then on the outside I mount my sunglasses, I mount my my tire gauge, and I mount a little flashlight, so I know where that kind of stuff is at all times. In the back hatch of the vehicle, that's where I keep my first aid kit. It's a pretty comprehensive first aid kit. And I also keep my toolbox. I have a DeWalt toolbox with everything from snow chains to airing up tools to just tools to work on it. If you guys want, I can do a full in-box review of what I carry with me if you guys want to see that. Now, as far as a system, like a speaker system, I've replaced all the speakers in the vehicle with Kickers. Kickers C-Series, I believe they were. And I have a Pioneer deck, so all those speakers are running off a Pioneer deck. I had the factory subwoofer and I swapped it out. I probably swapped that 3 times, and right now I'm on a 10-inch box that I hard mounted on the inside. I basically used 1/4 inch all thread and mounted that into the factory mounts. And it works great. It rattles from time to time. You have to make sure that those nuts are tight. But it works great. I'm running an Infinity 10 inside of it, and I'm running a Pioneer amp. I can't remember which amp it is, but I'm running a Pioneer amp to that 10-inch, and that amp is mounted under the driver's seat, which needs to get relocated because of how wet it is. Doing water crossings, I'm worried water coming into the door will destroy that amp, but we'll get to that soon, and hopefully I'll make a video on that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see, and stay tuned for new videos coming out. And also, I want to throw out, if you guys want to watch some really rad off-roading videos and you haven't checked them out yet, check out Off-Road Hub. That guy's traveling the country, wheeling some of the raddest trails in his FJ Cruiser. He makes some awesome videos. So check him out, and like and subscribe his channel. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, this is Loose Nuts Off-Road. Have a rad day.